So, what is up, everyone? We are currently in a pretty bad situation within the crypto markets. At least that's what it looks like and currently is. However, I still see the outlook being positive. We'll get into why that is, as well as where we're currently standing within the crypto markets. But we're also going to be going over two important things to keep into consideration just to keep yourself protected and safe during this crypto market. I mean, realistically, we don't have much longer left in this bull run if we are even to see it continue on, as that's simply my opinion. But again, we'll get into saying why that is. So, first of all, where are we within the crypto market? Now, of course, Bitcoin's still above the 90,000 range, which is, of course, great. A lot of people will see altcoins taking a massive hit right now, which they are. I mean, Ethereum's itself is almost below $3,000. We're almost at a sub $3,000 Ethereum, which is not good for altcoins specifically, because Ethereum's status really dictates how other altcoins perform. So, of course, we need to see Ethereum as well as Bitcoin do well, specifically or especially with Bitcoin dominance being as high as it currently is. That, of course, needs to drop down as well. I mean, it still is at that 55 plus% range that we just do not want to see in the event where we have a really good alt season, if we even have one in the first place. Now, again, I still see this being a possibility, see us having an alt season. I'm looking at that springtime. But again, there are a lot of just short-term bearish insights that we've seen. I mean, literally throughout this entirety of last year, and now into this year. And so each and every time there's been panic, which is going to be the first thing we're talking about. We're talking about panic and greed within the cycles, fear and greed, I should say, and why it's important to understand those. Now, we've talked about this before, but I think it does need a refresher, specifically in this time. There's a lot of panic. However, there's a lot of greed. You have to find logical balance. And when I say logical balance, I mean taking your emotions out and thinking logically towards every situation. So with that in mind, when looking at the current standing of where we're currently sitting with the crypto market, I myself have, and I've done this previously, but I've already done this for myself. For my overall portfolio, I've set each coin that I'm in, I have set targets that if it drops to that target, I will take my profits and just be gone. I'll just exit out completely. And then if I'm earning more income and I feel like I really want to allocate more money to these assets, then I'll start buying back in, because at that point, there will be very, very low levels. If we do see alts and Bitcoin drop very drastically, then for me, I have levels set into place where I will just simply exit out and take my profits. I'm not going to round trip, and that's something that you guys have to keep in mind. Is, let's say you bought in at a project at $2, right? So you put $1,000 in at $2, but then it dropped to $1, and then it drops down to 50 cents, and you still have not sold yet. You have to find targets that, in the event where it drops pretty significantly, you don't want to run that all the way down to zero. And in another stance, if you're in profits, let's say you bought in at 50 cents for $1,000, it goes up to $2, but then or even $5. Let's say you bought in at 50 cents and it goes up to $5, but you've taken your initial out and everything. But then it starts trickling down and down and down, and then eventually it hits 50 cents again. Well, you've round tripped and you have no profits in that whatsoever. So it's important to understand where you should be in for your profit taking. So for me, for example, again, like I have initials out on all of my projects, but what I'm planning on doing is, for example, schema stock. If that gets to a point where it hits a very low target, for me that'd be around 8 to 10 cents, then I'm pulling out the remainder profits. Now, just keep in mind, that's a token that I've already taken my initial out and I've already taken profits out on. So all the money that's in there is free money. But I'm just talking profits in general. You want to set basically stop loss targets for the projects that you are in, So you're locking away profits and not watching it go down to zero. That's so important, especially in times like these, because then you have a backup plan. Worst case scenario, you still make money. And with that in place, especially if you've been buying up in 2024, you're probably in green with a lot of your projects. So if you can set levels for yourself, saying if it drops this low, worst case scenario, I can lock in some profits. And then if it goes up, right? But I still locked in profits in the event that it continues downward and it's just off. You can do that while still hoping for the best, because I still hope for the best, but you also don't want to be dumb and expect things to happen 100% of the time, and that doesn't. You can make good inferences, but again, you can't be some dude with a magic ball who predicts everything. Just to point that out, and that's something that I think will do you good. And specifically, like, I mean, for example, let's say you have $10,000 in the markets right now, and you set a stop loss for your own portfolio at $5,000. So that's a 100% loss, or that's a 50% loss on your portfolio. And you want to lock in profits at 5,000, whatever the case is, right? You're already down significantly. Maybe you hit like a peak of 20, 30,000, but now you're back down to 10. Well, to lock in profits, maybe you set in at $5,000. And so it dips to 5,000, you're out, falls back down, then you're safe. However, if you just hold and then maybe that $10,000 portfolio ends up going down to a $1,000 portfolio, well, you've just lost $4,000 that you could have taken advantage of. So it sounds complicated, maybe to you, because you're going to be in a different situation with your own portfolio in terms of profits, in terms of if you're in the red, in terms of if you're just kind of break even right now. You have to really analyze your portfolio, what your risk tolerance is. If realistically you are fine just letting things go, I mean, you don't have to really set stop losses in place, and they're not actually stop losses, mental stop losses in place, if that's something that you don't want to do. I think it's smart to do if you want to guarantee yourself profits, because, I mean, if you look statistically, a lot of crypto investors don't make any profits whatsoever, just due to the simple fact of they buy high and then they sell low, and then they never take profits as well. They get greedy. So trying to just negate all of those effects, especially in times like these, is definitely important, because nothing's guaranteed. I'm still very bullish on the spring outlook. I don't think I talked about why I am. I've said this multiple times already. Those of you who are familiar with the channel know, but Trump's inauguration, again, I say this because regardless of political beliefs, Trump has had a very significant impact on the markets, specifically crypto, but also within the stock markets as well. I mean, look at the election results. Those heavily impacted the markets. And so I am predicting that the inauguration event, the news that, hey, Trump is officially our president, is then going to boost the markets yet again. Now, that could not happen, but that's a good guess, at least from my part. And that happens very, very soon. So that's something that's going to be happening in January. We could see markets pump, but if it follows the similar structure, we'll see markets pump, then maybe a cool off period around the 20th, 21st. We could see that happen and then continue to push up. It's just going to be interesting, guys. I saw a tweet by Ash Crypto where he talked about the market year by year from 2023, 2024 to now 2025, where both 2023 and 2024 saw January, February dumps, followed by March, April, May pumps in spring. We could see something similar happen to that. So my advice that I'm just kind of taking for myself, and again, none of this financial advice, this is just what I'm doing. I'm taking things just year by year. I have my targets in place. Worst case scenario targets, I still lock in profits. Best case scenario targets, we make a nice amount of money. So that is where my mindset is currently. I'll keep you guys posted and updated on new projects, again, as we get more into this, as well as just if anything big news comes up, of course. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. Might do some updates on some more projects, but we'll see what comes for tomorrow. With all that being said, I'll see you guys later.